Sigh? Is it busted again? Whoa! Oh my goodness, here we go. Ooh, buddy. So I found this game called Astronought on itch.io, and honestly, it's right up our alley. It is a horror game with icky elements. The store page says, you wake up aboard your ship under red emergency lights and no sign of your crewmates, except for one fresh recruit you've never met before. They're a little eccentric and talk a bit weird, but it's nothing you can't handle. As the designated mechanic of the Bidadari 221, a vessel set to deliver a shipment of Earthian pet supplies across the galaxy, it's your job to make sure things around the ship work like they're meant to. Something went wrong that you knew. Oh, something went wrong that you knew. You just hope you can figure it out before things go horribly wrong. There's only one ending, so I can't possibly screw it up, but it is a horror game. You know, the warning said like vomiting and worms. Worms. I'm excited though. Are we not space adventurers? Vessel Bidadari 221. Designation mechanic. Please input crewmate identification. We all know who I am. The moment my eyes flicked open, I instantly knew something was wrong. Bright red lights flooded the ambience within my private quarters, leaving everything looking blood-soaked and gruesome. For a second, there was a pulse of fear in my chest before it faded, my logic stifling my instincts, telling me it was too soon to panic. Despite how the crimson hue signaled danger all around me, it was better to keep my head on straight. My hand reaches up to scratch an uncomfortable itch on my collar, only to find my arm was caught underneath my toppled desk. Luckily, my suit cushioned most of the impact, leaving a dull ache and nothing more. Grunting with effort, I kicked off the offending furniture and sat up to assess everything, fixing my visor over my eyes. I casted a quick glance around my room, some furniture toppled on their sides, and my usually neat shelf of books and trinkets chaotic and disorganized. Did the ship crash into something while I was asleep? Usually there was a piercing alarm accompanying the emergency lights, but oddly enough, it's gone quiet. Either I slept through it somehow, or something else happened for it to malfunction. As the person in charge of repairs and maintenance, that didn't bode well to me in the slightest. Just the sheer volume of that siren should have woken me up. Sigh? I called out to the room, expecting a matronly, if a little stoic, voice to respond back. Delayed responses from the ship's AI weren't common, but they could still happen. As a spacecraft shipping nothing but Earthian pet supplies across the galaxy, we weren't really working with the most advanced tech there is. Not to mention the budget cuts. I sighed, already feeling a migraine forming in the back of my head. Sigh, can you respond, please? I clicked my tongue. That's not a good start. I inhaled deeply and stood up to exit my room, my boots clunking down the hall, the only accompaniment I had as I made my way to the main console. Along the way, I didn't see any other signs of disturbance, not like the one in my room at least. I scratched at my arm, keeping a lookout for any trouble. Everything seemed to be business as usual. Other than the emergency lights, that is. A nagging thought crept into my head. While I wanted to take the current situation seriously, I couldn't help feeling skeptical. Was it another one of their pranks again? It's been a few months of me working for this company. I was expecting the hazing phase to die out any day now. Or at least, I hoped it would eventually. There's only so many ways one can keep themselves entertained on a shipping vessel months into a trip, I suppose. I just hated the fact that I was one of those ways. Regardless, whatever's happening is worth investigating, awful co-workers or not. I could only hope I got out of this one without any lasting trouble. Reaching the main console of the ship, I frowned at the absence of my crewmates. It was getting a little ridiculous how quiet the space was other than the ambient humming and occasional blips from the console. At first, I didn't want to feel offended at the fact nobody came to fetch me, if it was a possible emergency, but the greeting silence only formed a pit in my stomach. Captain? Anyone? Is this another disappearing bit? Because it wasn't funny the last 2 times either. The lights are a nice touch, though. No stifled chortles. No snarky quips. Bristling from the quiet, I called out again. Come on, guys! I'd rather you insult me than leave me in the dark like this. Nothing? I sighed and shuffled over to the main panel. Pulling the lever to disable the emergency lights, the dark, gory tint of the room fades away into its usual sterile white. Glad to see that's working fine. Standing there, I expected someone to at least reveal themselves already. It's like a game of chicken to see if I'll break down first. I folded my arms, standing awkwardly in the center of the room. Nothing but absolute stifling silence. Guys? With every passing second, a heavy sense of trepidation grew. I swallowed down the inevitability. I had to accept that it wasn't a practical joke after all, shuffling to the console hurriedly. I checked the rest of the systems. Artificial gravity, navigation, communications. My brows furrowed as I squinted down at all the panels. It's like everything was reset. I perked up as I caught sight of the reboot logo for the ship, thrumming back and forth on one of the screens. Sigh, AP, must be restarting. I waited impatiently for the familiar dinky chime to ring through the speakers. Sigh?
Hello.
The low, droning voice was littered with more static than usual. I was just glad to hear someone talk back. Oh, thank God. Is everything all right? You don't sound too good.
The current state of my systems are suboptimal. Several of my primary functions are disabled or inoperable. I recommend repairs immediately.
I'll get right on that once I figured out what's going on. I fidgeted with my tool belt as I thought of something simple to ask. Where is everyone else?
One crew member accounted for.
Just one? That was concerning. There's supposed to be 5 of us. Can you, scan for everyone else?
Negative.
Why?
As I've mentioned, I'm in dire need of repairs. My biometric scanners are inoperable. My tracking systems are inoperable. My
Okay, I got it. What could possibly cause so much damage in my sleep? What happened to the ship? There was a short pause before Sai was able to respond.
Significant impact was detected against rear exterior of the ship.
My brows raised. We hit something?
Affirmative.
I grimaced, my worst fear coming true. I was really hoping that wasn't the case. And how long ago?
Approximately 24 minutes ago.
And I was passed out on the floor the entire time? This might be more serious than I thought. Okay, that answers that. How bad is it?
Unknown. Manual assessment required.
I gulped, my breath stilling for a second. The thought of having to leave the safety of the ship and crawl along the outside, tethered by nothing but a flimsy cable to inspect damage, who knows how bad. I leaned forward as a nervous laugh spilled between my teeth, hands gripping the edge of the console to steady myself. I'll get to it later. I said I'll get to it later.
I do not recommend postponing the repairs. It is affecting my performance significantly.
I'm not postponing, I'm just building up to it.
I really insist that you
drop it, Sai.
Very well.
Deep down, I knew it was foolish to disregard Sai's advice. I was the mechanic, for God's sake. Fixing things was the entire point of me being hired onto this crew. I didn't need a semi-advanced AI to tell me that. I turned my attention back to the console. My eyes were glued to the big red button right at the edge, my hand twitching with the urge to press it. Maybe it was too soon to panic, but with everything going on, I was stumped on what to do. I held back, clenching my hands into fists so tight I could hear my gloves squeak. If I pressed that button and made a fool of myself, not a single person on this vessel would let me live it down. There's no one else on this vessel. We are utterly alone. Dread forming in my throat, I dragged my boots across the floor, ignoring the tremors in my hands as I prepared to head to the loading bay. Pausing at the door, I threw out one last question to the air. We're not in imminent danger, are we? Sigh? Are we in danger?
Error.
I pinched my brows, gathering whatever courage I had. Astrophobia be damned, I had to do my job. I would think... Why don't I just press the button? I'll do it myself. Oh, I skipped stuff. Oopsie. While repairing the Bididari was my main priority at the moment, it didn't hurt to see if I could find any of my absent colleagues. Plus, I wasn't really thrilled with the idea of leaving the ship without someone watching my back. Maybe I was still holding on to the hope that this was all some sick joke. They just upped the game with their pranks is all, seeing as they haven't gotten a decent reaction of me in a while. They couldn't have possibly abandoned me, right? This is pretty extreme for a prank. This is just bullying. Just as my thoughts were about to spiral into negative territory, I heard faint footsteps from down the hall. My head whipped to the side just in time for me to catch a glimpse of one of my crewmates donned in one of the external suits. Were they from the loading bay? The helmet shone against the bright light, obscuring the wearer inside as they darted out of sight. My hope rekindled. I quickly pursued them down the hall. Hey! I turned the corner just to see their back in time. Hey, wait up! They instantly stopped, spinning on their heel and staring back at me with a rigid spine. I couldn't see their eyes from behind the darkened glass, but I could feel the weight of their gaze. I looked down at the name tag on their suit, but it seemed to have been ripped off. Whoever it was, I didn't care. I'm so glad I finally found someone. I was this close to thinking... I hesitated, biting down on my tongue. I couldn't show this person I was freaking out. Absolutely not. Anyways, where's everyone else? Do you know where they are? They stood completely still, seeming to tremble slightly. Guma. Their voice came out muffled. What? Hang on, let me just... I reached over to flick the mic on their helmet. They paused for a moment before speaking once more, their hesitant voice ringing through. Luna. That's better. They seemed to vibrate with excitement. Ah, delight! Amazing to see you. Amazing to... I looked over their frame, trying to pinpoint their height or look for any indicator that I knew who this was. Whoever it was, they were pretty short. Is that you, Marcus? They bristled as if offended. The doctor? Ew. He is smelling like the meteor slugs and star debris. Okay. Is that you, Kiara? They scoffed. Nosy cook? She is smelly too. Oh, who could this possibly be? Based on their attitude, so far it didn't seem like it was anyone I recognized. I clawed my brain for another hint. I'm pretty sure that's not you, Ben. They made an indignant noise. I am none of your friends. None of my... Oh, are you, that new recruit we got a few days ago? What a terrible time for introductions. I definitely heard in passing between gossips management sent us yet another new member for our small crew. They're usually considered an extra set of hands around the ship. Something about training on the job. I felt bad. They're probably being paid pennies for a position that wasn't even permanent. Not to mention ending up on a busted ship days after arriving. Normally in 2 months they'll be dropped off at the next depot and we'll be picking up a new stranger in their place. At least if things went well and the ship doesn't explode. I had to guilt my eyes behind a smile. In that case, I don't think we've met. I'm usually so busy running around the ship doing other people's errands. Anyways, I'm Honey. I held out my hand. And you are? They freeze again, staring at my hand as if expecting to grow teeth and start snapping at them. Luna, you will shake my hand? Their hand darted out to grip mine tightly, squeezing so hard I let out an involuntary yelp. Hey, watch the grip! They quickly released my hand, recoiling. Ah, mistake. Sorry, I mean to say, Honey. I did not mean to meet you so soon. I was still in the middle of cleaning. Cleaning? I raised a brow. Since when did we start hiring janitors? They gave a terse, awkward laugh like the twittering of a bird call. Not the kind of cleaning I talk about, but yes. Okay. For the life of me, I couldn't pinpoint what accent they spoke in. I'm sorry, what was your name again? They stilled. I did not. They looked around before pointing at my tool belt excitedly. You will call me Wrench. I blinked behind my visor. Pardon? Wrench? Yes! Like the shiny thing on your hip. Look full. I glanced down at it before regarding them with an incredulous squint. My colleagues probably put them up to this. I am not calling you that. They deflated. Aw, shoulders sinking in disappointment. Oh, fine. You will call me... Atom. Adam? Atom. They gave a huffy sigh, arms akimbo. You are a tiny bit deaf. I will remember. I'm not. When did they start hiring such eccentric members? What kind of name is Adam, anyway? At least it was better than Wrench. I shook my head, resisting the urge to just turn around and leave. You didn't answer me, though. Do you know where everyone else is? They shrugged, teetering back and forth on their toes. I have not seen them. They might be hiding. I narrowed my eyes in doubt. Why would they be... By the way, I have a very important question. It means life and death. What? What is it? What is your favorite color? What? What is your favorite color? Jeez, relax. I want to answer now. Fine. It's... Oh, purple. Royal. Purple like dazzling dust ring. My favorite color is white, by the way. Very elegant. I will remember. By the way, did you see the freaking, the line going down at the bottom? I don't like being rushed with my decisions. This is gonna be stressful. I'm saving just in case. And again, and one more time. Okay. Adam is very adorable, by the way. I hope they're not evil. I don't think they're human. I will remember. I sputtered, giving them a deadpan look. What are you, 12? Wait. Are we human? Like, why are we saying, like, Earthian pet supplies? Earthian? I don't know. I'm not a human. Maybe we're not playing a human. Anyway, sorry. What are you, 12? We don't have time for this. I am 6 moons old, actually. Stop messing around. Look, I don't know what your deal is, but we have missing crewmates and a malfunctioning ship. How you're not freaking out is beyond me, but could you please get your head on straight and help me figure this out? They stayed silent, barely moving a muscle. My glare falters. Maybe I was a little harsh. Yeah, leave him alone. Maybe I was a little harsh. At least until they started clapping their hands with a soft giggle. Inspire. I will help you to ends of galaxy, Luna. It's honey. Honey, of course. Silly the me. I huffed, resisting the urge to rub my temples. Rookies. Were they under the impression that I was someone important? Still, the presence of one strange individual as company was better than none at all. Where was I? Oh, right. Loading bay, exosuit, fixing ship. 3 simple things. I cleared my throat, hiding my anxiety as my arm gestured towards the opposite of the hall, where they were headed. I need someone to watch my back while I go outside. They perked up. Outside? You would like to swim? I found out their strange analogy before nodding. Yeah. Sai told me there's some Who is Sai? I blinked. The AI of the ship? Ah, of course. The I. but there's no need, Luna. I already fixed. You did? I was wondering why they were wearing the suit. It had to be for a reason. Hang on, I thought you were cleaning. I have many talents. Skillful. Oh, that's great. I guess I don't have to then. I stood there awkwardly, rerouting my priorities now that one major task was taken care of. I had to admit I was relieved. Anything to keep me the furthest I could be from the vastness of space. I guess all that's left is to find the others. They didn't seem too happy about that. Others? Why? Why? Is that even worth asking? They lifted their head as if to give me a passive-aggressive look behind their dark helmet. I am sure they are around. Wasting. It didn't take a genius to figure out how Adam felt about the rest of the team. My coworkers must have given them the newbie treatment. Hate their guts, huh? They tittered quietly. Their guts. Yes. But you care. So I will follow. Adam is so cute. Hopping on their foot, they clapped their hands once more. It will be a chance for me to know you better, Luna. Honey. Honey! I sighed, turning around to start heading towards the cabins. Let's go. Let us. Hours. Hours of searching up and down and sideways. We looked through every possible nook and cranny of this ship I could think of, picked clean as a carcass. Am I just going insane? Or did they really actually abandon me? I don't understand. Where could they be? Adam fiddled with their glove, humming an incoherent tune. Gone. I inhaled shakily, digging my hand through my hair. How? They're prime-time jerks, but this is too much. They couldn't have just ditched me. Where would they even go? Do not fret, Luna. You are not alone. You have me. My eye twitched. That's not as big of a reassurance as you think it is. Pa. Would you like to eat? I think you should eat. Humans feel better after food, yes? What, do you cook now too, next to cleaning and fixing? I do many things. I couldn't muster up the energy to even sigh. We already have Kiara handling our meals. They sputtered as if I just spat on their boot. Her food is inferior. Hardly crunchy. I paused for a moment, wondering if I should question them further, but decided it wasn't worth the interrogation. If you say so. So you're a janitor, mechanic, and cook? What planet did they pick you up from, huh? They flicked their wrist, as if giving them a compliment. Rejoice! I am very talented. I can do anything for you, Luna. Anything except find our crewmates, apparently. They shrugged nonchalantly, not a care in the world. Their apathy was something to behold. It wasn't my place to judge, but I couldn't help feeling suspicious. You certainly meet a lot of different types of people working this job. I straightened. Adam did mention they fixed the ship, didn't they? I figured asking Sai again would be worth a shot. Not to mention, for these cases, maybe it was about time to look through the logs. Let's head back to Maine. Maybe I can figure out what happened there. They gave an enthusiastic double thumbs up, eager to follow close with a pep in their step. I was still deciding whether I preferred being alone or not. Count my blessings, I supposed. We entered the main console, my steps leading me to the archives unit. Keying in my ID, I scrolled through the past few hours, only to feel my heart shrivel, freeze, and drop in the span of a second. Every single log file in existence was corrupted. Even the backups of those backups. How could it... Hey, honey. I actually just remembered another life and death question. Not now, Adam. My fingers worked the keys, digging around for something, anything. I'm scared of another, oh my gosh. Just gonna save it, just in case. Adam fidgets and shuffles beside me. But it is very important. I mean it very much this time. I said not now. They made another indignant noise, mumbling it under their breath. Grumpy. I will remember. Other than that, they seemed to stay put, watching me closely as I agonized over the console. Where is everything? I yelped as the console sparks, static riddling the screen before it's turned off completely. What? No! I could only stare back at my reflection, wisps of smoke curling between the crevices of the keys. Adam leaned over my shoulder to take a peek. Do you have time for a life and death question now? I closed my eyes and inhaled deeply, counting to 3 before exhaling out. What is it? Adam made a happy noise, glad to have my attention again. What can you eat? I furrowed my brows. What? What do you mean? They chuffed impatiently, tapping their foot. What can you eat? Oh, wait, that's... What can you eat? What can you eat without dying horrible, painful, choking death? Will you explode like Crater Bug if I give you the nut? Or your gut will fail and liquefy if I gave you a lactose? Were they asking if I had any allergies? They mentioned something about cooking, didn't they? Our dietary information and instructions are in our files. You didn't think to check? I could hear the pout in their voice. Reading will take time. You will tell me now. I roll my eyes, irritation clear on my face. If it gets you off my back, I can eat anything. Convenient. I will remember. I fixed them with a pointed look. I hope I don't regret that. I hope I don't regret saying I can eat anything. I fixed them with a pointed look. Aren't you worried, Adam? Where's everyone else? Shouldn't you be asking about their favorite colors and their tummy problems too? At the question, their demeanor shifted. No. They starve. The dead seriousness in their voice completely threw me off. It was full of stone-cold malice, unlike anything I've ever heard from them. I know they can be real insufferable at times. Trust me, I know. But the fact they're missing is still a huge concern. They folded their arms, a rising heat in their tone. They are mean and bossy and kick you around. The captain, she is the worst. I will never forgive her. I blinked, wondering where the hell that even came from. How did you... I shook my head, my frustration rising with every second of interaction with this newbie. That doesn't matter. This entire situation is wrong. Can't you see that? They shrugged. Everything I want to care about is right here. Never mind. I glanced over at the control panel, eyes scanning over the buttons and dials before landing on that very, very enticing big red button. I'm not going to accidentally click it again and skip hundreds of dialogue. I walked towards it. What are you doing? Calling for help. Captain always said not to press it unless necessary, for circumstances are dire. Or at least I would if the big red button didn't burst into sparks and smoke just as my fingertips reached for it. I stared slack-jawed as my hand hovered midair, 1 feet away from what should have been my one last ticket to salvation, away from this mess. What is happening? Amongst the many deities living in the stars, there's got to be one out there that absolutely detests my entire whole being. Adam made a hum of acknowledgement, staring at the console. Bad luck. I scoffed, gritting my teeth as I fumbled with my tool belt. Luck has nothing to do with this. Getting on my knees, I worked at the paneling underneath the main console until it popped off with an unceremonious kerchunk. Adam stiffened behind me. I could only freeze in horror, attempting to comprehend what I was looking at. What was supposed to be wires and circuits boards were riddled with pulsing, inky tentacles. Oh. Ew. No, not tentacles. Worms. They bobbed and weaved and slid through the internal circuitry, barring any possible attempt I had to even tinker with it. Ever insistent, I decided to proceed anyway, pulling out my screwdriver and poking the closest part with the tip. They wriggled away in response. Whatever they were responded to stimuli. That's creepy as heck. A voice murmured softly next to my ear. I do not think you should touch that, Luna. My grip tightened on my screwdriver. I don't think so either. I left it open, refusing to touch it more than I had to, even with the gloves on. But I had to be sure. One by one, I pried open every hatch and opening I could think of within the room. Nothing but worms. Adam fidgeted with their hands, silent all the while. For once, they seemed to understand my growing desperation. My gut roiled in disgust as I tossed the final panel away, the metal clattering against the floor. They've taken over this ship. Missing crewmates, malfunctioning AI, unknown funky organisms crawling through the ship. What the hell is anyone even supposed to do in this situation? I was never trained for this. Or I was, but that was orientation months ago. And all they told us was to press the big red freaking button. Pacing back and forth, I fidgeted with the flaps on my tool belt, muttering solutions under my breath. Luna? Honey. Honey. I do not see why you worry. What? Do you not see the worms everywhere? I have seen them before. Safe. My steps halted at the casual admission. You've seen them before? They're not dangerous? Safe. Secure. But you told me not to touch them. Just because safe does not mean touch. I glanced around the room, uncomfortable tingles running up my arms just looking at all the wriggling. Without the haze of panic, I could pick up on the distinct smell of burnt eggs. I held back the urge to gag. Tell me you can look at all of this and not want to puke. They jerked as if I just insulted their mother. 1, that is rude. 2, I have seen worse. The worms were spilling out to the floor and disappearing through the grates at our feet. But there's so many. They tutted in disappointment. Are you also scared of 100 million ants? That sounds terrifying. You are giants to ants, Luna. Well, scared of ants. I will remember. What was that? Nothing. Admittedly, their easygoing demeanor about the whole thing did help calm me a little. A detail they seemed pleased by. I have another life and death question. Here we go. Not another one of these. Is this a hobby of yours? What animal is your favorite? Don't ignore my question with another question. Animal, now! Oh my gosh! What is my favorite animal? Red panda. Wonder. I will remember. Can we take it easy with the icebreakers already? But understanding Luna is so much fun. Stop calling me that. What is wrong with calling you Luna? Nothing's wrong with it. It's just not my name. So I can call you Luna. That's not what I said. Okay. I groaned, burying my face in my hands. Oh, do what you want. They giggled cheerfully, hopping on one foot. I will. Can we get back to the worms? If you've seen them before, then how do you deal with them? You do not. I'm sorry, you do not? Why deal with worms if safe? Just because safe does not mean let them infest the entire ship, Adam. Why not? Do I really need to explain? Actually, don't answer that. You know what? Stop talking. I'm just going to... Sigh? A soft crackle emitted from the speakers.
How may I assist?
I slumped in relief at hearing the monotonous voice once more. Oh, I can... The scroll wheel goes to the dialogue? Oh, okay. Remember not to touch that. A soft crackle emitted from the speakers.
How may I assist?
I slumped in relief at hearing the monotonous voice once more. I read it again on accident. Meanwhile, Adam seemed to huff in annoyance, folding their arms after being brushed aside. I gave them a short glance of acknowledgement before turning my attention back to the ceiling. Where's the nearest situation we can dock at? Situation. Oh my gosh, I cannot read. Where's the nearest station we can dock at?
The nearest station is approximately 5. Recalculating. Apologies. I cannot finalize the distance.
Well, I thought you were fixed.
I was. It seems my navigational systems have been tampered with.
Tampered? What do you mean tampered with?
I have been tampered with.
I know you said that, but in what way?
A different way.
If Sai had a neck, I'd be gently rigging it. Deep breaths. Deep breaths. Like, changed? Altered?
Affirmative.
Who would... I looked over at Adam out of the corner of my eye, who's been staring at me the entire time. A brief second of paranoia filled my chest before I quickly quelled it. They've been with me for the past few hours. It didn't make sense. Is it the same for everything else? Does it feel like everything else has been altered, I mean?
Yes and no. Upon rebooting, several of my usual functions were inoperable. However, ever since my waking up, the loss of control has been increasing in increments since.
Wait, what? So you're telling me you're worse off than before?
Affirmative.
What? Why didn't you tell me sooner?
My initiative directives were also tampered with as of 60 minutes ago. I cannot do what is not asked of me.
I groaned. Loss of control? So what does that mean? Are we being hijacked? Why would anyone even want to take over this stupid vessel? We just deliver Earthian pet kibble and platinum-grade chew toys.
It is not an attack. The source is from within.
Within? The worms. It must have been those gross worms crawling through the systems. Then what can I do?
May I suggest
I have suggestion. My head slowly turned to regard the newbie with an apathetic look. Yes, Adam? Take walk with me. My glare turned furious at their nonsense. And what 70 billion galaxies would that help? You told me these things were safe, and look at what they did. We're stranded. Despite practically blowing up in their face, their helmet tilted, nothing but jubilance radiating off their body. Walk will help. Promise. Promise, Luna. It will help. Of course I'm going to take a walk with Adam. I trust him. I trust him and his worms. Maybe it was the fact that I just needed a breather, but I ended up agreeing to go with Adam. They could tell it was... I should have saved before that... I should have saved before that choice. Okay. They could tell I was about to accept their invitation, considering they took a step towards me and yanked me forward by the wrist before I could even say a word. The next thing I knew, my boots were thumping against the grates behind theirs, their grip around my wrist firm without a chance for me to slip. Their excited laughter echoed as they led me down the halls, less of a brisk walk, more of a merry jog. They confidently took turns without even glancing to check. It seemed they had a destination in mind. Eventually, they stopped in front of one of the airlocks, or rather, what we used as a garbage chute. Technology wasn't sophisticated on this ship. That was something I had to accept ages ago. Every time I came into proximity around this area, I worried the creaking would finally give way to a collapsed doorway sucking me into the abyss. I kinda understood why Adam brought me here. The view through the glass separating us from oblivion in the other room was still, admittedly, breathtaking. Though, in my case, it would be literal. Considering I have to hold back a panic attack every time I caught a glimpse outside. What an interesting character we're playing. Staring out into space fills me with hope and beauty. I could never look out and be scared. Very interesting. This version of us is. I wasn't even terrified of space until I got this job. Some practical jokes just leave a worse impression than others. Adam doesn't notice my subtle distress, or even if they did, decided to ignore it. It is like I remember. You've been here before? Many moons ago. One day I take you swimming. Swimming? Oh right, they went outside. Just the very thought made my palms sweat, my heart sinking within my ribcage. Did they really get a thrill from helplessly floating out in space? It would explain why they haven't taken off the suit yet. I don't think I can. Yes, you can. It is easy. They reach for my hands, intertwining our fingers and squeezing gently through our gloves. Yeah. I'm gonna save. Let them or for your hands? Honestly, I'm giving the wheel to Adam. Let's go. The contact was out of the blue, but at this point, I've come to accept my crewmate's quirks. Otherwise, I wouldn't have agreed to this nonsense in the first place. Thank you. Maybe the stress of the unknown was making me lenient. I couldn't see their face, but I could somehow tell they were beaming. Well, wait, we're not doing this now, right? I don't want to go outside. They tilted their head in confusion. We are not. You were not wearing suit for swimming. Oh, I relaxed. Then, is there a reason we're holding hands next to the dumpster? Many reasons. Can you give me, one? They hummed in thought. I remember great happiness here. Huh? You asked for a reason. That is reason. They tightened their grip, stepping forward into my space, their helmet nearly bumping my nose. I startled, leaning back. I can tolerate the hand-holding, but I appreciate my own bubble of oxygen, Adam. They laughed again, light and airy. I will make your oxygen for you. Excuse me? What? Huh? I only want to see you. Are you trying to see every single pore on my face, too? They tilted again, a smile in their voice. You are funny. I will remember. I sighed. That was barely a joke. Why do you keep saying that like you're keeping tabs on me? They paused briefly before realizing what I was referring to. I should know, must know, everything to make Luna happy. Nothing else that does matter will matter. I held my breath, staring at them in bewilderment. At this point, I couldn't even deny it anymore. It was clear Adam was smitten. Gods know why. That's a bold confession. Not bold enough. Never enough. Okay, calm down there. Should I just ask? Are you in love with me? No, let's... Are you in love with me? Something else. I mean... Whatever. Might as well. It wouldn't hurt to ask, right? Maybe the sooner I get them to... If this turns... I'm going to have to reload. I'm so sorry. Maybe the sooner I get them to admit it, the sooner we could stop this ridiculous rendezvous and focus on what was actually mattered. What the heck? What did I read? Hold on, let me use the scroll wheel and go back. Maybe the sooner I get them to admit it, the sooner we could stop this ridiculous rendezvous and focus on what actually mattered. There you go. Are you in love with me? Their hands dropped mine as if they were hot coals. Luna. Love. Love does not begin. They lunged for my hands again, squeezing tighter and tighter. You will let me? I was just asking. You will let me? That depends. On what? If you find my friends, if you save the ship. Oh, goodness. Well, okay. We're still missing people. There's too many options. Oh, good. There's lots of pages. We'll use them all. If you find my friends. Adam stilled. Others. You keep asking me about others. Well, of course. They're still missing. I took them. What? And you know, I am almost done cleaning. Cleaning? The lights flickered, turning to a colored hue. Your favorite. I blinked. The lights weren't meant to do that. What did you just do? They laughed cheerily, holding out their arms as if proud. I make ship better! Ha ha! You will not need Sai anymore. You will not need friends anymore. I will care for everything. Food, flesh, favorite things. Everything will be your liking, my Luna Nova. What? Ah, right. You are a tiny bit deaf. Should I repeat? No! Can you please explain what's going on? What did you just do to the ship? Where are my comrades? Ha ha ha. If I am being honest, you will not like me. Their words sent a cold chill up my back. But that is all right. Everything is all right. This isn't all right. Nothing was ever all right with this person. Adam admired my silence for a moment before leaning closer. What is it you want, Luna? Ask, and I will give everything of me. I want to... Hit them with your wrench. Hit them with your wrench! Ah! Ow! Ow! Oh! Oh, no! Adam, I'm sorry. I braced my feet on the ground and swung, the sound of glass cracking sharp to my ears as the impact traveled down my shoulder. Adam made a sound like a strangled animalistic cry, dropping to their knees and clutching at their head. Their wormy worm head. Typically, space helmets shouldn't crack under that kind of force. They were supposed to be bulletproof, and you'd crack your skull sooner than you'd crack your helmet. But the company was cheap, and for once, that was to my benefit. Luna? My eyes widened as I stumbled back. Worms dripped out of their head, slapping wetly against the grate before joining the rest between the crevices. I already knew they couldn't possibly be part of my crew, but seeing what was essentially a suit full of worms did it for me. I banged another hit for good measure, a guttural screech scattering more worms across the floor.
Luna!
I gripped the wrench tight, abandoning their crawling form to sprint down the hall towards the emergency escape pods.
Luna!
The walls and floors creaked and groaned as I ran, contorting in shape to trip me. I righted myself with the flailing of my arms, coughing for breath as I threw open the hatch for the escape pod and clambered inside a mess of limbs. Oh, look at that. Ooh. I buckle in, hands shaking as I flicked buttons and dials for the ignition, heart painfully hammering against my ribs. The countdown flickers on screen, the vessel shuddering to life. 10, 9, 8.
Luna!
I screamed, jumping in my seat. Adam clawed at the pod, its worms like innards pulsing and bulging between the cracks of its shattered helm. Ooh, 6.
Luna.
5. It giggled softly, sighing in mock disapproval. 4.
You know it is useless.
3.
So smart,
2.
a tiny bit stupid.
1. The buttons and dials reset simultaneously with narrowing clicks, the pod jerking to a stop. I was left staring at Adam's cracked helmet as it chitters, its laugh sounding more insect-like.
You can have tantrum. I do not mind.
It leaned against the glass, helmet thudding as it tilted its head in that love-struck way characters do in cartoons.
I will wait.
Its fingers tapped playfully against the glass, distorted humming coming from the mass inside its head. I sat there frozen, my body unable to even tremble from shock. I licked my lips, refusing to look away. My voice sounded distant and muffled, even through my own ears. What are you... Adam stopped its rhythmic tapping.
Huh? Talkative so soon?
I can't do anything else. It stared a moment before giggling, shoulders shaking with mirth.
Candid. Very true. What I am.
It seemed to consider a moment before knocking its helm against the glass again in excitement.
Do you remember, Luna? Many moons ago, on this ship, I was small, weak and hungry.
I racked my brains for an inkling of what it was talking about. A stowaway? Was it possible?
I was ready to die, but I sneaked into the metal box instead and found crunchy bits.
Food? You found food?
The edibles.
The edibles?
Yes. Joy and applause. But I find food to also find problem. Your friends, mean and hasty, surround me like moon lions.
If you're gonna be stealing our rations, of course they'd be pissed. The worms writhed wildly as if in danger. Anger.
But I was so small and weak. They want to crush me under boots and burn me alive. Every single face, stormy. All but yours.
They paused for a moment, reminiscing. The worms calmed.
You look at me. Mercy. Star me in the black holes.
Their tone softened to that of reverence.
Do you remember holding me in your glove? Do you remember shooting me into space?
I shot you into space? That sounded like a death sentence rather than a rescue. And then it clicked. 6 months ago. You got into the dog food, didn't you? It perked up, nodding eagerly. Maria had found a pest, digging through the supplies and eating through half the bags. She called the whole group to catch it while I was busy repairing the hole it crawled through. Caught it in a jar, shaken and punished, just trying to survive. Kiara suggested throwing it in an engine furnace. Marcus wanted to pick it apart. The others chimed in other horrible, torturous methods out of boredom, but letting it out of the airlock hatch was so easy. I ran off with it just as they started bickering. It was no bigger than my palm. I just thought you were an endangered species. In an honest, truthful way, I did. The markings matched, didn't they? It let out a chirp of amusement.
You are very smart with the ship, but tiny bit stupid with the animals.
It sighed longingly, tracing a circle over my face with a finger on the glass.
I remember your smile. I cannot forget. I never forget. You saved my life, my Luna Nova, my kind answer action in spades. You are getting what you deserve.
The pod shuddered, screws spinning loose and dropping to the ground with muffled clinks by my boots. I watched in horror as worms started squeezing in through the holes. Oh! Ah! Swarming in, they land on my lap, my arms, my shoulders, the gap around my collar. I could feel them curl around my ear, brushing against my cheek, prodding against my visor. More and more, piling on and on. Get them off me! I unbuckled myself, kicking open the hatch as Adam stepped back in time. Bursting out of the pod, I scrambled to flick away the horrid things off my body, shuddering as the sensation still ghosted over my skin. Adam watched, hardly offended. Ha! I got impatient. It snatched my hand before I could finish ridding myself of the worms. The remaining ones curled around me, sticking to my clothes and skin in a way that was almost affectionate. Now we have our home ready. What would you like to do, my Luna Nova? Home? It nodded excitedly. Home! Ship! Right. Adam took over the bidadari. Even now I could hear distant creaking and dull rumbling all around us, transmitting gentle tremors from under my boots. Like the ship itself had come alive, breathing. My voice came out, meek and numb. I want to go back to Earth. Adam shook its head. No. I am better than any planet. I can make anything. Here. It cupped its palms together and something started wriggling underneath its glove. Small colored pebbles rolled into its hands from the cuffs of its leaves, growing into a pile before it presented them to me. Scrumptious. I recognized the dry pellets instantly. Is it offering me dog food? I gently nudged its hand back down. I can't eat that. It gasped in shock, an intense pout in its voice. Why not? You can eat anything, yes? There it is. I mean, colorful dog pebbles are better than worms and worms and worms. You told me so. That doesn't include dog food. It sighed and tutted, the worms wriggling about in annoyance. Fine. I learned from Cook what to cook. I paused. Are you talking about Kiara? I dig her brain for recipe. Plentiful. What does that even... Never mind, I don't want to know. I'm pretty sure we know. Somewhere in my confusion, Adam had hidden the kibble away, suspiciously muffled crunchy noises coming from within its chest. I eyed it warily. What were those even made of? If it had a mouth, it would give me a cheeky grin. Me! My body shuddered, squinting down into its gaping head wound. The smell of burnt eggs was even more intense. I don't want to eat worms. It laughed, nonchalant. It will not taste like worms. Do not even look like worms, remember? Oh, I can also make you some red panda. I do not know what red panda is, but Luna can show me. Would you like? Your own red panda? I briefly imagined an animal made of wriggling black worms. I ignored the nausea collecting in the back of my throat at the thought. That's fine. I pointed at its helmet. Doesn't that hurt? It made a confused noise before realizing where I was staring. It is like fresh air. Fresh air? Adam really is just worms. You're not mad at me? You said you return favors, so... It shook its head quickly. I will never, ever. You can do the hitting again if that is what you want. What? No, don't be crazy. Then again, what did I expect from something not even human? I startled as Adam removed my glove. Oh, If I speak. Raising my hand with a firm grip, Adam nuzzled into me, carefully avoiding nicking me on the jagged edges. The smooth glass rubbed against my palm as the worms retreated within the helm, avoiding touching me directly. Even then, it let one stray worm curl around my thumb, the texture cold and foreign and strange. I could feel light vibrations on my skin, as if they let out a happy hum. We will sing and dance and fall in love, Luna. I cleared my throat awkwardly, resisting the urge to tuck my hand free. I think you're being a little too optimistic for your own good, Adam. It chittered happily at the sound of its chosen name on my lips. Optimist. Of course I am. You have no choice but to like me. Its hold tightened around my wrist. And do not ever think of escaping. I will hunt you. I will find you. And we will start all over again. Oh. I gulped. What if I ask nicely? Got you there, Adam. Checkmate. No. Stay. But...
Stay.
I swallowed thickly, not daring to move a muscle to protest another word. I didn't think I'd be held hostage by an enamored parasitic worm extraterrestrial thing. This whole situation was so bizarre, I expected to wake up under red lights again if I tried hard enough. This is crazy. It tutted in satisfaction. What is the saying of that melody? No es la locura? En realidad es el amor? That was Adam saying that. I scrolled so far I can't. Since when do you... You used to be my angel, honey. The lights over our heads dimmed, the reflection of Adam's helmet illuminating the look of dread on my face. Now I can be yours. And we dance in synchronous rotation. Thank you for playing. Oh my goodness. Okay. I am so... Listen, I like that. I think that was cute. It wasn't as creepy as I was thinking. Like, I don't know, I was expecting some sort of jump scares or something. Okay, so I just want to know what happens. Oh, okay, I see. Seeing the other options. Oh yeah, let's skip to the next. My favorite animal. My favorite animal. Can I say worms? Ooh, okay, here we go. Now skip. Let's stay with Sai this time. My glare hard and my voice tight with anger. No, it won't. I don't know what's wrong with you, but if you want to take a walk, go ahead. I don't need you distracting me. Oh, no! Adam, I didn't mean it. Adam goes quiet, the silence stretching uncomfortably thin within the space. Well? They keep staring, their helmet reflecting a bloated image of my own face glowering back at me. Their voice barely leaked out of the speakers of their suit. Do you hate me? Adam! My glare wavered, eyes widening at the sudden question. Do I hate? Please tell me you do not. Adam, please. Please.
Please.
I don't hate you, Adam. But there's a time and place for messing around. I'm sorry you caught me on the worst day of my career to play these games, but it just isn't the time. I slapped a hand on their shoulder in a desperate show of camaraderie. Do you understand, Adam? Buddy? Will you take things just a little more seriously? For me? They nodded, slowly before their bobbing head speeds up, the momentum building up to the rest of their body until they're bouncing on their toes with barely constrained energy. Yes, my Luna. I will help. Great. Now let's ask Sai if there's anything we can... Sai? You do not need Sai. You have me. I thought I was just imagining it, but there's absolutely no way. Were they actually jealous of the AI? Well, 3 heads are better than 2. Unless you don't count Sai having a head, in which case... They don't respond, staring at me with a straight intensity hidden behind the glass. Unsettled by their gaze, I turned my back to them to face the console. I cleared my throat nervously, ignoring the hairs rising at the back of my neck. Anyways, I think a good start would be to check our current coordinates. Sai, could you pull them up onto the screen? I waited expectantly for a static riddled affirmative to respond. Sai? Is it busted again? Whoa! Oh my goodness, here we go. Ooh, buddy.
Warning, warning, warning.
A loud creaking moan reverberated through the room, my eyes darting around frantically. Sai? What's going on?
Stop talking to that stupid voice. I am right here.
Oh my good worm Adam, no. The floor shuddered violently, sending tremors up my legs so vicious it made my teeth clank together until my jaw ached. A nasty metallic scraping pierced my ears as the rusted floor panels started to part, sliding and grinding against each other, shifting aside to reveal a monstrous sea of worms crawling underneath my feet. Oh! I screamed at the sight as I backed up against the console. The only thing separating my being from the rest of the wriggling mass was the flimsy metal grating underneath my boots. Adam stood on another, calmly watching me with the tilt of their helmet. No worry, I will never hurt you, but your friends. I could hear the lilt of joy in their voices, their fingers twitched. I will get them. Oh! From the writhing mass rose several mounds of flesh, surrounding me in a taunting circle. The overwhelmingly heavy stench of burnt eggs, rotten meat, and wet copper invaded my nostrils and clogged my throat. I choked on bile, seeing the desecrated corpses of my comrades, their bodies twisted into grotesque pulsing pillars of flesh and sinew. Flecks of dissolving teeth and spongy drained eyeballs hung loose against their flaps of skin. Their fingers were twisted, nails missing from their heads and knuckles scraped down to the bone. Melted guts draped like bloody curtains along their forms, hollow and dripping with residue. Are you happy, Luna? Are you happy to see your friends? My muscles tensed, my brain urging me to do something. I'm just gonna freeze. I couldn't will myself to do anything. My eyes screwed shut, my breath coming in rapid, shallow, and panting as my gut churned. Gagging, I folded over myself as the contents of my stomach spilled against. Oh, I guess I vomited anyway. Oh, okay. I didn't want to read that and describe it. Seeing my distress, Adam flinched, quickly burying my dead friends underneath the grates once more. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. My eyes back to normal. My eyes fluttered open as I trembled and shook to catch my breath. Luna? I swallowed thickly, more breaths hitching and getting stuck in my throat. I could still taste the sourness in my mouth, my eyes watering from the memory. Okay. What are you? They had the decency not to laugh this time, looking at their feet. If I tell you, you will not like me. They looked up, the smile returning to their voice. But you will understand. They tittered lightly. You will. You are angry at me now. I understand. But your heart is kind and tender and sweet. My face twisted into a sneer. That just sounds like I'm next on the menu. They gave a contemplative hum before letting out a shy giggle. I am sure you will be delicious. Toothsome. But no. You are worth more to me than a meal. I don't even know who you are. They tittered again with that bird-like laugh. No matter. I am done cleaning. What? The lights Okay. The lights flickered, turning into a colored hue. Static sparked from the speakers, Adam's voice loudly surrounding me with unabashed glee. Your favorite color. The lights weren't meant to do that. They took over the ship. My head spun. They stepped closer. And that is only one small thing I can do for you, my Luna Nova. Food, flesh, favorite things. You only need to ask. No sigh. No friends. Only me. I stared at them, teeth grit. Come closer. They straightened into light, quickly approaching me without hesitation. Oh, you poor Adam. What is it, my Luna? Take this! I raised my feet on the ground and swung. Oh, goodness. All right. Adam made a sound like a strangled animalistic cry, dropping to their knees and clutching at their head. Typically, space helmets shouldn't crack under that kind of force. Here we go. All right. I'm going to skip all this until I see something different pops up. Because now we're doing all this, but except in the... Yeah. Ooh, smack again. Yep, we're running. Okay, all this. Okay. Dare I skip? Oh, did he give me the kibble? I recognize the dry pebble. Okay, dry pellets. It's always dog food. Okay. Why not? Beans and greens, fake protein. You tell me this is how you like your food. I still wouldn't eat it, even if it was organic. I decided to tell the worms railing about an annoyance. Fine. Right. Oh, goodness. Okay, here we go. We're nearing the end. It had a mouth that would give me a cheeky grin. Well, okay. We didn't ask them if they were in love with us. Does that hurt? I guess I'm over the scariness of it all. This honey is very brave. Okay, yep. Same ending. Just different things to get to it. Yep, there we go. So, after seeing what happened in the cockpit, am I still an Adam fan? He did something very bad. But, you know, since when was it a crime for worms to have hobbies? I don't know. My first run, where I didn't see any of that spooky stuff, that's canon right there, baby. That's where I'll leave it. Oh my goodness. So this definitely got tacked on to the end of the first playthrough, in which I said Adam could do no wrong. Oops. I guess I'll leave the same thing, you know. Please like and subscribe. I plan to play more just like this. I really enjoyed this game. Link is in the description. Bye-bye.